and summarize it quite nicely. Yeah, as Anu said, Anu and myself, we've known each other for several years now, and it all started with one project where we actually met, which was the Embrace project, which was about corporate social entrepreneurship. And that was an EU-funded project as well. And you see, we've written down here the solution bridge, and I just explain to you what it means, because the collaboration with the Hansa Whole School and TrENDi has been really deepened and strengthened over the years. Yeah, mainly because of projects, but because we share similar visions and approaches and mindsets. It feels like a programmatic approach that we want to go into the same direction, and that we can learn from each other, support each other, and share synergies together. So for us, it feels really like Groningen and Vechta, which is actually only 2 hours away, even if it's a different country. So it's a 2 hours drive, but it still feels, if you're not connected and you're not talking, like two different islands, and they're separate and they're working for each other, for themselves, and dealing with their internal or regional things. So when we started the Embrace project, we noticed that there are some similar mindsets, similar visions that we want to share and that we want to pursue. So we built a bridge, really, if you want to say that. One pillar certainly was the Embrace project, because that gave us resources, money, and time to spend time together, to work together, to think about what can be next. How can we actually succeed in developing our regions and the cross-regional alliances as well. So I've written down the projects that we've been working on or still working on, which is the Shift Skills project, for example, that Tove will introduce to you a little later, and the Whiskey project about future competences and how you build them up and assess them, and the Public Start project. And I will talk you, instead of Arne, I will talk you through that as well. And the other one is the Buffer Plus project, which is about peatlands. It's an Interact project, and it's about helping peatlands to become wet again. And we are dealing mainly with the entrepreneurship issues around that. How can you actually entrepreneurial use these peatland areas when they're renaturated? So these are the projects, and it kind of it's quite good if you think about the image of being a bridge, because that gives you the resources to share the knowledge, to share skills, to set up new visions, to build a even stronger bridge through other projects and that you're doing and that you're setting up. So the trucks show that there's a two-way street exchanging all different resources between that. And because we've been in so close contact, it's quite a strong bridge. And of course, it started with maybe just a little bridge with one project. And as I said, because we both sides made an effort to understand each other and to get to know each other and say, okay, let's make this effort and work on something together and try to build up the synergies, which is from the first, if you think about the process of how it all started. And I think maybe this is useful for the SIRR project and thinking about how can we actually build these multi-stakeholder helix that we're all trying to achieve. It's really about using the context that you have in projects, use these personal connections to talk about, what are your visions, where do you want to go, understand the other one's perspectives, and to build on that and to make use of the time that you have within a project to build up these alliances, really, so that the projects will become just a part of the bridge. Of course, we all need funding for the work that we're doing and everything. These are kind of the pillars, but actually it feels like a constant flow of exchange if you're doing it right and doing it correctly. The difficulty.
Iris, can I just add something? What's also interesting that this bridge has extended beyond just the two universities and Domhel. For example, our mayor from Western Quartier is a big fan of Iris and the work that University of Utrecht is doing and Domhel Vision. So it's spreading as well. So these projects that we do are always rooted in our own local municipalities and places. But we also, what we do is that we are helping our local actors to broaden their perspective and scope to understand that their challenges are that they're not alone. And so the bridge is now crossing not just us and Fechter. The municipality has gone to the European Week of the Regions. They're starting to learn and understand that this one bridge that started and is still very strong here has helped them to build also other bridges and open up to other opportunities. So I just wanted to just add to that. So it starts with one party and personal relations, but we've really already started to broaden that brand and that fact that we're with Tova, who was in another project, but now we're doing a project with Tova as well. So those bridges are building and we're taking more people across and not when it starts with one party. So thanks, Iris.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a very important point. And it's it really, I think the point, just to stress it again, it's really about the Hansa Whole School has already had the original connections, and we at Fechter have it, and definitely it kind of links that, and they're using our bridge too. So which is quite, again, a nice picture, because we have the counties and the schools that our university traditionally has close links to as well, and so they're using that even if they're not the front runners. So we're kind of the facilitators of exchange due to several different reasons. I mean, small municipalities don't have the resources to do that, but they strongly benefit from the work that we're doing. But yeah, to stress it again, it's really really important that we bring this connection out to our local networks as well, local and regional networks, and talk about it and make it relatable to them, because that's when it becomes from a vision to very tangible outcomes and assets that we produce. So that's a very, very important point. Yeah. So, Anua, do you want to add something about?
I don't know whether you're going to show the next slide, because then maybe we can expand it from there, because I think a number of things are very mentioned in the next slide.
Yeah. So I've explained the components of the bridge, obviously the islands and the bridge itself. What we would like to highlight is it's always true to speak about how do we succeed and how do we make this possible, and what are the difficulties. As I said, it's always important to build up personal relationships and to try then, and in the next one of the next steps, to bring it into your organization, that it becomes natural to reach out to these partners if we can work together on certain projects, if there are other ideas from them, if we can use the synergies. The difficulty, and I speak for myself, that the difficulty is if one pillar breaks away, if one person breaks away who was the initiator and trying to make this bridge happen, becomes absent from whatever reason, it's really up to the organization to pick it up. And this can be really very bumpy and difficult at some stages, and that made it even we became more aware that it's even more important to share within your organization the work and the projects and the relationships that we have, and make it a structural thing rather than a personal thing. So I think this is something that we definitely, from any perspective on how we build networks, this is a very important point. So yeah, in the end, the last point that we've written here is be patient and keep talking openly and give room for visions, because if you don't, so you should, we always use meetings either online, but we also try to meet up regularly in person, because that just facilitates the open discussion, and this is really necessary to build on this bridge and to follow the visions and the strategies that each organization has. And would you like to add anything?
Yeah, maybe just what I mean, this is something that one step that we've tried to go further, and we've realized is that when we talk about these big challenges that we have to deal and the transformation or the transitions we have to make, one of the most important messages that we try to give to our partners, we use the projects as a vehicle, is to say that when you want to collaborate to try to work some of these big problems, you need to also change yourself personally, but also your organization, to allow those types of collaborations that are essential in that multi helix collaborations. But in order to do that, organizations have to give the mandates, you have to give the space, and you have to create your organization in a way that you can do that. And I think that I hope that maybe in the discussion we can talk a little bit about some of our experience, and one of our most important things, and which is why we work a lot with the municipality at the moment, is the new roles for governments, and because they are in a position to also help to bring parties together in a way that maybe sometimes is easier than for some of the other actors. So I just want to leave it at that, and I think we can pick it up once you talk about public start, and Tove has talked about shift skills, that we can maybe pick it up in the discussion later on. So thanks.
Thank you. Are there any immediate questions right now? Yeah, from that, I would hand over.
Yeah. Just a quick reflection. I just realized that there is a very interesting connection here that I didn't think of. To Manikam and Iris, I will send you an email, because we have STARS is the Alliance of EU Universities, and Hansa University and University West are members and steering committee members. So we shall try to be a little bit strategic here and see that we try to integrate the SIRR project into the STARS collaboration, because then we get another perspective into the EU. They would like that. And also I can see that there are some good things that we can actually work on in that connection.
No, I totally agree, Per. So I will be in the next conference in Albania, so maybe we can use that also, that platform in that conference to do that. But I'm glad you saw the line. I didn't realize you were in there, but yes, please.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we touch base in Albania, but we can do that before that as well to prepare. And since University West is leading the work package research in the STARS Alliance, that can be of interest. And for one peculiar reason, I'm the chairman of that work package, so I'm responsible for that. So that's a way to how we can connect SIRR into the STARS Alliance as well. That could be nice.
Great. I don't have like really good reflections and presentation as well. I don't have a question, but I just feel like after listening to your presentation that, I mean, we have talked about exactly this topic yesterday within our organization. And it's like really interesting topics you're highlighting, how to build the bridges and also how to make it not based on personal contacts, and how to create organizations that actually accept and give you a mandate to work with bridges in this way. And that's really also what the project is about, how to include different multi-helix actors and how to not only have like personal connection and relationships to different ones. And we are still struggling a little bit about how to do it and also how to explain the value of it for the organization. So I'm looking forward to the discussion point about it, like what challenges you have met and maybe some best practices as well and how to do it. And I know that this has been a topic for a lot of pilot hubs in the project as well.
Maybe another reflection along the same line, because in many ways you can say that now, for instance, Sotenes and Skagen, we have been building our own bridge for many years, maybe not being so much aware it was a bridge. We maybe more saw it like we were connected by the sea, that we had so many things in common and we didn't need a bridge or a road or something, a structure, but we had the mental connection already. And all the projects we have made together, it's also like a platform we build on, also quite often based on personal relations. And we are also very much aware of the weaknesses with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting picture, this with the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Jens, you're raising your hand. No, you're not.
Yes, I am. May I say something?
Of course.
Michael nearly said the word culture. Right now, I'm especially interested in how to build a culture into the companies and into the municipalities so that they are able to take the knowledge partner wish to give them. I have placed a lot of different people into our small companies, and it's always as starting at the same point, because they are not able and they are not used to take responsibility, take the right responsibility, because they don't have the culture for doing that. And that's an interesting issue as I see it right now. So I like to get the link that you are sending to the two others, because I want to see what are you actually working with.
So do you want, I mean, I thought we can also talk a little bit more when we are in the session. Maybe we can, I don't know who's keeping the time, but maybe it's also good to maybe have the presentation from Tove and from you on public start, and then we can have a more general discussion, I think. Is that an idea? Because otherwise we'll start to go into the discussion and we may then do injustice. I think it's also nice to have more inputs from the other two parties as well. I don't know who's chairing this meeting, actually. Is it you, Iris, or
Arne was, so we were...
okay. just saying, I'm just looking at the time.
Do you have do you have the whole presentation, Iris, for the others as well? Do you want me to?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I have the whole presentation open. So we would next go to. I can share the screen again. To Tove and talk about shift skills. And as you've seen, it is part of the bridge, and I think it fits neatly into SIRR. So I hand the word over to Tove to tell you a little bit more about symbiosis and shift skills.
Yeah, thank you, Iris, and the rest of you, and thank you again for being invited. It's very nice to could talk about and present our project, which is a symbiosis project between 3 partners. The 3 partners are the industry and the education institutions and the students. My name is Tove Hagenes. I am coming from Norway, and I am a main project leader at the business department in Alva municipality, which is a municipality on the border to Bergen, which is the next big city in Norway, at the west coast. This is a 3 years project, and we are just in the middle of it. And yeah, if you can scroll down, Iris. We are 5 partners, and yeah, thank you. We are 5 partners, 3 from 3 countries, and the 5 partners are Vestre University and Hanse University, and also Vesterkvartier municipality, which is on the border to Groningen in Netherlands, and Vestland County municipality in Norway, and Alva municipality. And Alva is the leader of the project. Yes, so next slide, please. So first I want to tell you a little bit about the project and why we felt we needed this project, and afterwards I will talk about the methodology and hopefully how we build the bridges. Well, we felt we needed this project because we all have common challenges about the lack of qualified labor. And we see that it's particular within new industrial occupations, technology, renewable industries, and the health sector. So we have a lot of shortages of occupation in Europe. Actually, it's employing 14% of the EU's workforce. But we also have too many occupations, and we see that many of them will disappear. About 70% of EU's workforce are surpluses occupations. So we see that when many of today's profession will disappear, most of the tomorrow's profession are not invented yet. Because of the green shift, digitalization, robotization, nuclear industry is coming up, and etc., etc. You all know about this. We used to say that 1 of 3 of us must change profession in the future. And the pace of rate are going faster and faster, so we have to be hands-on all the time. And we all have problems with the elderly wave that are coming too fast and the fallen birth rates. The birth rate in EU is 1.6 at the moment, and in Norway it's only 1.4. So, well, we know about this prognosis and we have to deal with them, of course. In Norway, we recently had a young report, that says that only 12% of young people between 15 and 25 are optimistic about the future, only 12%. And as much as 51% in the same group are pessimistic about the future. So that is actually some sad news, and we felt that, okay, we have to meet the young people especially, and that's why we started this project. So next slide, please. So we call the project Symbiosis between the industry's competence needs for tomorrow, not in 5-10 years, and the educational offers that are going to match this competence needs from the industry, and also the students' better educational choices. So I think maybe something special with this project is that we are going to meet the students here. We are going to include them very, very tight, actually. The overall target in this project is to offer young people relevant and in-demanded education and work in the regions. Yes, because as Vesterkvartier municipality, and Alva municipality and so on are on the border to bigger cities. We are in a competition with the larger cities, so we have to do something to keep the young people in our own regions. And the other overall target is to offer the industry in the region the necessary expertise locally to carry out the green shift tomorrow. Yes. Specific targets is that we are going to make a competence program in these 3 years. This is a digital toolbox with measures for structured meeting points between the industry, the educational institutions, and the students. So hopefully this project and this competence program will contribute to offer updated information to students about the right skills for tomorrow. What do the industry actually needs? And we also hope that the project will contribute to increase business competence for teachers and advisors in schools. And also we hope that this will increase educational competence for employers, because this is a symbiotic project, and the knowledge has to go all both ways. Yes, 3 ways actually. And we also hope that this will contribute to reduce dropouts and wrong educational choices, because that's a lot problem. And especially in Norway, we see that, well, 30% of these students actually drop out at the upper secondary school. So we haven't afford to lose any teenagers, because, well, they're getting fewer of them. And further on, we hope that also the project can contribute to increase the employment rate and increase workplace development, increase tax revenue for regions, and also increase sustainable growth and level of attractiveness. That we want people to stay here, we want them to move here, to live here, and also hopefully we can also contribute to reduce immigration. And overall level, we hope that this will achieve synergy effects at municipal, regional, national, and international level by dissemination of the competence program. Yes. So how can this project strengthen symbiosis between the industry, schools, and students? Well, then we are going to talk about it in methodology. We have actually 3 methodologies tools. The first one is Innovation Workplace. That's Anu are the expert here, but I want to talk a little bit about it. It's intended to reduce silos and increase cross-sector collaboration in the ecosystem by communication and collaboration. And we also have Whisky that I know both Iris and Anu work with. And this is a kind of a portal that measures and visualizes transversal competences obtained through informal and non-formal learning. The tool combines social learning approaches, peer assessment, and experts' feedback to validate non-formal learning. And Iris, you talked about it already. And in Norway, we also use the equipment Inflow 24 Beep. We are going to certify teachers and employers in the industry, that the employers that take care of students in trial and practice, for weeks or for months. So we're going to certify them to use the equipment, the communication equipment, Inflow 24 Beep, to help young people to choose the right education and career paths on the basis on the students, young people's preferences, interests, motivation, and also get an information about the working life and the needs in the working life. And here it's very important to say that we have 3 in Norway. We have 3 large companies, company from the oil sector. They are going into the green shift now, and they are very hands-on here, and they take responsibility to participate in this project, because they want the teenagers to educate and take their work in the sector. Yes, and I think the final one. So how to succeed? Well, accountability and ownership in all stages is essential to succeed. So we agree that all partners must take ownership and see benefits from this project from the start. They have to be motivated and well, we are 3 countries with 3 different kind of educational systems and rules and everything. So we have to see this from 3 perspectives, but we have to have a common goal and also we have to see benefits to work together, of course. I think it's important to link the projects to municipal and regional and EU plans that already exists. And I also think it's very important to ensure good project organization through all work packages. We have 4 work packages in this project. And it's very good to use a project management tool that all partners master and commit to from the start. Because, I mean, we have to be structured through all the 3 years. You know all about it. We also want to contribute with interest and generous approach for a good collaboration. I think that's a very good part in this project, and we also have to mention this through the project and, well, supply each other. The support from Erasmus in this project is valuable throughout the project. I think it's very good and very safe to could contact them with questions through the project. And also I think this is important, that the business sector must be included. Why? Yes, because they are hands-on these challenges all the time, and they also have the financial power for implementation after the project period. That's why we have included business, good companies from the start. So we have in Norway. We have I'm talking from Norway now. We have established some project groups and work groups where the business sector are responsible as well and very motivated. Because we must use each other's expertise to succeed with the project. So this was the presentation. Thank you. If you have any questions now, you can take it or maybe in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Tove. When I hear this from the SIRR perspective, I'm wondering if parts of the competence, not framework, but how do you call it? One of your outputs can be kind of shared or included in the SIRR project as well to make so that the hubs can make use of it. Because I think that some of the tools there, because of the symbiosis, and you're linking the different stakeholders closer together. These can be tools to get over the challenges that we already mentioned today, to bring them actually together and to make it more natural to work together. And maybe so we should, from my perspective, we should stay in contact and see if some of it fits in to the SIRR project and maybe extract some of the things that everyone can use.
That's very nice. That would strengthen both the projects. So yeah, good idea.
Emma?
Yeah, I just wanted to add into that I know that this is relevant for the SIRR project because we are actually facing challenges with competence here in Sotenäs, and I know that a lot of partners are doing that. So we're sharing like the same challenges. And actually today, this afternoon, we have a meeting, like our organization in Sotenäs with University West, just to talk about this, what kind of challenges we have and how we can support each other. So I'm very much looking forward to if it's possible for you to share results or whatever, and see what kind of value we in the SIRR project can get from your project, and maybe the other way around as well. Yeah, but this was really super interesting and nice project. So I'm looking forward to hear more about it and to stay in contact.
Thank you so much. Happy to could share, collaborate. Good.
I would suggest to move on, that I will talk you through public start as well, and then we can have a little bit of discussion afterwards. Is that all right? Otherwise, shout now, please. Arne has already presented parts of the idea behind public start to you when you were in Vechta. So some of the ideas are might still be in the back of your mind. And I just so I will just refreshen it and make it visible again. And I think in terms of SIRR again, we should be looking at what we can use to share with the hubs again and make it maybe complete kind of a toolbox that hubs can use to create a Multi Helix network. This public start project finished 1.5 years ago, I think, or well over a year, and it was about bringing entrepreneurial skills, mindsets, and competences to the public sector. Usually, it doesn't really. First of all, when you speak to the public sector or bring up this topic, some might say, no, well, how does it fit? Because entrepreneurship, it doesn't have anything to do with the public services that we have to provide. But that's actually not true, because Anu mentioned the transition phases that we're in, that we have to move forward to a new future with innovative ideas, with innovative solutions, and that's why SIRR came into place as well, so that to make it happen, to bring the region and the stakeholders in the region closer together and to develop innovative solutions. And that requires entrepreneurship competences, as well as competences about the understanding of complexity. So this is what the Public Start project was about, and we've created a toolbox for that, which is a relatively low-level toolbox to people who are dealing with complex issues in their workplace from a municipality or public sector perspective. And we've also built in different examples from the partners of the project, which are really helpful to see, okay, what kind of complex issues are we talking about? Is it about waste management? Is it about health? Is it about environment? So these topics that might relate to other regions as well, and to your regions too. We have two main outcomes of this project. One is the complexity handbook, which should help an organization, and from the perspective of a partner, to tackle complex challenges. And this includes kind of what is actually complexity and why do I need this, but also how do I actually start managing those issues and managing complexity within my work. And this handbook kind of builds the bridge then to the digital tool that we've created, which has loads of different materials in it. So I just scrolled down to the workbook itself, because I think this is very useful if an organization has noticed, okay, there are actually complex issues which needs to be managed within different departments, or across different departments and organizations as well, because they touch and they combine different topics and aspects and affect all sorts of different stakeholders and policies as well. So this handbook has a very useful part in it, where it is kind of a sketchbook which you can take into your workshop and say, okay, we have this challenge ahead of us and we need to find a solution. So we will lead you with some examples and some questions through this first initial project on how to deal with it and what might be important, and to get a better picture of what your organization is dealing with, and what the next steps are. So as you can see, we have for example, slides where you're prompted to the different risks, or that you think about what is actually your ownership and your shared ambition. So these are kind of first steps towards, okay, how are we actually managing challenges within our organization? I'm not going through all the details, but if you want, we will share the slides anyway, and there are the links through this handbook in there that you can scroll around, and maybe some of the slides might be important for one of your sessions that you're having. So have a look at that, and I'm happy to guide you through that a little bit more on another occasion. And this handbook, which is a starting point and a kind of a door opener to the whole idea, underneath that or behind that, we've created a complexity tool which covers all sorts of different stages where you could be at when dealing with and managing complex challenges within your regions. This slide, first of all, looks complex in itself at the first glance, but actually it kind of combines all the different aspects and phases that you might go through. You would have to, first of all, set an awareness of why things aren't working as we do them, or as we have done them. Why aren't systems changing, and why are certain things complex, and so on. I'm not going through the whole process, that would take too long, but the way the tool is set up is that you have these different phases, and if you say, okay, I'm really stuck at what are we actually talking about, having what kind of stakeholders should be engaged in my issues, for example, or are engaged or are affected by my decisions, for example, and you can jump to the stakeholder management. And then you see on the right-hand side here different examples from municipalities that have dealt with stakeholder engagement themselves. So if you click on them, you get an insight of, okay, what was going on there, what was the setting, what was the topic, and those kind of things, which is very useful. And you can also jump into tools that you can use within your work. And I just jumped into the stakeholder mapping as a starting point of how do I actually engage different stakeholders. And this brings you to a very short course and overview of what it actually is. It explains what is stakeholder mapping. It explains to you what the different stakeholders can be. And for example, the 3 steps to building a stakeholder map, and it takes you through there. And this is just one example of one of the learning nuggets which is behind this tool. And depending on what phase of managing the complex issue you're dealing with, you can jump inside and have a look to get a better understanding and get ideas on how to move forward, how to prepare workshops and the next steps for your own work to manage those complex issues. Because this one, for example, it gives you, okay, how do I do a stakeholder mapping? And also gives you an idea of how do I use a different tool here, for example, a collaborative whiteboard, or it can be a normal whiteboard. What do I have to pin down? What is actually necessary to do that? What's the next step? So, and this is just one example of the whole public start map, and with the examples and tools that you can use in the process of it. In terms of SIRR, I think we can have a look at this too, because there are all different aspects and a lot of contents included. What might be useful for the hubs to put it into a SIRR framework. And I'm looking at Miriam a little bit, who has already set up the brilliant sustainability course. Maybe if we can set up something like that helps not only sustainability, but also how do I actually manage those challenges, and to give the hubs a different idea of these are the tools and these are the steps that you might have to consider while dealing with your transition that you're trying. And I think there are a couple of very useful contents that should be included in kind of a SIRR toolbox if we want to have something like that. Yeah, this is all I would like to show now. That was just a very rough wrap up. Again, come back to Arne or me. Arne was involved in that as well. If you have any questions or have a look around yourself, and from a SIRR perspective, I think maybe Miriam, we should meet up again. Sure. And see what kind of contents and how we could include that into the platform that you've created for SIRR. So
perfect. Yeah. Lovely. I'd love to help you.
Great. Yeah. Just go back to the slides. And we come to the open discussion. We already had a little bit of discussion already. But Michael, do you want to be first?
Yeah, just to kind of confirm that I do see a lot of synergies between this Public Start project and all the tools there. And I think now Charlotte left, but she's sometimes focusing very much on how to build this toolbox. But in many ways, you already did it. So it's more like how to merge that into the other tools we have in the SIRR project. But I see a lot of potential there.
Mm-hmm. And to reframe it a little bit, to make it accessible for the hubs and those kind of things. So that would be. Emma.
Yeah, I also see this really of value for the project and for the hubs. And also now this autumn, there have been a lot of focus on stakeholder mapping, like you showed there. And maybe, soon during the spring, we will allocate some time to analyze the input and data coming out from this first mapping. And maybe some things from this project could be of value for that process, or this process as well. And also, SIRR is kind of it's a complex project. I was like, you meet challenges all the time. So it's so good when we, can make use of other tools already there, or if some pilots, find value of them, and then that's really, good contributions. And I also realized that, during all those presentations, we have so many things in common. And I really appreciated that we could get insights into your projects, because we have really a lot of things we can learn from each other and exchange over projects. So many good results that could be used. And hopefully also we can share some things from the SIRR project. I'm afraid we don't have time for that at the moment, but I'm looking forward to stay in touch with all of you and look more deep into this.
Yeah, I think, and that's, I think the things that you just said, Emma, kind of brings me back to the start of the solution bridge, because as you said, it's important to share and to talk about the visions and to find the synergies and to use the bridges that we already have to share those resources. So
yeah, and what we also talked about, and I think that's more for anchoring processes internally in the organization. Like, why is this or those or these bridges important? So that you can get the mandate to actually work with building those connections and links. Because for the people working with the bridges, we see a lot of values, but you have to anchor it and explain why it's important, what kind of value it gives for the area, and for in my with my role in the municipality, what does it give for the municipality? What kind of values? And that would also be interesting to look more into why bridges and
Yeah, it's the matter of why, and also the second step would be to how much extra resources does it take to do that? I think that's kind of the second question that always comes up, because even if people find it's a sensible way of doing things, they lack resources, and for them sometimes the talk just ends.
Yeah. Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the book on regions taking the lead. I mean, it's also something that we sort of presented at the end of Public Start, that it's even more, that's why we think that the role of municipalities are important, because it needs to be both an actor, an initiator, and a participant in making those transitions. So it's not, then you don't have this discussion, what you're now talking about. It's more about creating the urgency and understanding the urgency, and about the new roles and new ways of working we have to create with each other to solve those problems. And that book on the regions, I think Iris has a copy, and otherwise we are happy to share that, or a digital version. But it is important to one of the big things is to how do you create urgency, and how do you create those conversations where we started at that was the last point that Iris raised, and also I think Tove mentioned that. But what I also want to say is that workbook that Iris showed is actually, that's exactly what it's also, especially for municipality, we made that book because if you have a workshop session, and like this afternoon, that it helps you to have the conversations about, because I think we also did a session which is on a personal level, as a professional, and an organizational level. And so if you want to do those things, what are your barriers, and who needs to be involved? And then the next level is what is the organization already doing, and what does it need to do? And then you start to have a conversation, at least within a small group in a workshop setting, so that it starts to have you start to build a common ground within your organization to do what you need to, so that it's not just feeling that, me alone having this bridge to Iris or this bridge to another, but then you start to then realize, hey, collectively we also can do something. So you want to build that common ground, and just as a last thing, that's also one of I think because it's so important, but we took a lot of these learnings in these three projects that we've done. And we've taken another step, and we're creating a publication on it next month. But it's really about this: how do we build common ground? So your question, Emma, is about how do we build common ground? And I think that this is a question all of us have in the green shift, in the especially as rural communities. I think we have very urgent questions about. I think everyone knows, and that's nice that we're in a time when everyone understands that we have to change, but they don't know how. And that's the next step for us as a community of, wanting to change and to support that change.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then also this is connected to competences.
Yes.
So that's also interesting, the thing that Tove explained. It's to build a common ground, and it's about resources and also competences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what's nice is that Arne is going to bring all these tools, as far as I understood, and Tove can correct me. And that's nice that Tove, that Arne now also is, and with Iris in the background, is the linking pin between our projects, because I think I understood that Arne is going to bring all these different tools onto a digital platform, so that it also is found in one place, as far as I understood. But I guess you'll hear from Arne himself the next time you talk to him.
I'm looking forward. But good, we have 2 more minutes for this meeting. Time really flied, and I see that we could spend at least 1 more hour or 2, 3 more hours discussing things. But thank you very, very much, Arne, Tove, and Iris, for presenting your projects. And as I said before, I can see a lot of synergies, both from your projects and with the SIRR project. And I'm very much looking forward to look more deep into this and see if we can exchange more things with each other. Iris, I don't know if you have some final words you would like to share. And also I appreciated the reflections and discussions taking part. But before we close the meeting, like some final remarks or things you would like to add?
Well, it was lovely to see you all again. That's my most important remark here. And yes, we definitely will build on that and take up the leads in next year. And I don't think that it's useful right now to share all the information about public start, for example, with a whole group. I think it would make more sense to maybe have a meeting with Miriam, for example, first of all, to see, okay, what can be, and Charlotte, if she's working on something like that as well. I think those are the main players, right? Okay, I see you nodding, Michael. So if we sit together and kind of outline what could be important and then present it to the SIRR team again, and the same with Tovis, with the Symbiosis and Skills project and the tools that we're using there. So we just keep in touch, and I think you're the one orchestrating everything, so we will build on that. So
great.
Lovely seeing you.
I'm looking forward.
Thanks everyone for your attention.
Thank you. And if I don't see you again, so then Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and enjoy Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
But talk soon and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Enjoy the blue wine.
Bye to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Lucia.
Bye.
Bye.
Emma.